Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel to another weekly video, and today we're going to talk about which camera should you buy. I get this question asked many times a day, and it's something that everybody wonders when you want to start with photography or if you want to upgrade your current equipment. So I'm gonna help you, give you a perspective from my side, how I learned and how I started into photography. But before we start, I wanna show you my camera so you can see which cameras I own at the moment. There are several types of cameras. You can choose a huge variety of cameras, so whatever you want to shoot. For me, as you can see, I have the Penta 67. It's a beautiful 120mm film. It's an analog camera because people confuse film sometimes with movies, and no, this is a photography analog camera. It's a gorgeous camera for portraits, and if you have lenses, of course, for landscapes, but I love it for portraits. I also use my Nikon D610. This camera is a beast for the price that is now, and it's a full frame digital camera, and I love it. It's been my go-to camera for my photography. Every photo you see around and on my website and my work is with this camera, and the 50mm 1.4 and the 35mm 1.8 full frame lenses. And my last but not least is the Sony A7 II, which I'm recording this video, and this camera is changing my whole perspective into photography because it's helping me jump into film and movies. So you're gonna find your perfect camera, but more than that, you're gonna find a new hobby. So I just have 3 tips that you have to ask yourself, and you have to know yourself before investing in a camera or even digging into photography. So number 1 is gonna be budget. With your budget in mind, you can learn which cameras are in the market, which cameras are more suitable for what you can spend, and if it gets closer to what you want to accomplish as a photographer or videographer or whatever. So you should first of all just think about a budget you want to spend on a camera, and I will give you an advice that I gave in one of my other videos, is try to avoid cameras that are sold with kit lenses. Normally the prices are higher, and when you learn photography, you never use the kit lenses again. So if you can invest on a body only and pay attention, this lens changed my perspective and life as a photographer, and is the one who I use the most. It's the 50mm lens. You can buy 50mm, 35mm, both 1.8, 1.4. Normally 1.8 tends to be way cheaper, and it's easier to get those prime lenses, and you're gonna see a change immediately. Think about your budget, how much you want to spend into the camera. Once you have your budget figured out and you have an idea of how much you can spend and you want to buy a camera for, then it's gonna be the second tip from this video. What for? So this question is something that I ask several people. Normally they don't really know what to tell because it's really difficult to know what you want your camera for. You still want to learn which type of photography do you like, or which way will it take you. But what I mean with what for, I not only mean if you want to take landscape or portraits, I mean if you want a camera, if you care about megapixels, if you care about video, 4K video, if you care more about shutter speed, how fast it goes, ISO. So these things you may not know when it's your first camera, but it's something to look into when you invest in your first camera. Again, in this situation, if it's more of a self-discovery, as I did when I bought my first camera like 6 years ago, I bought a crop frame Nikon D5000, which was really good. By then it has a tilt screen and everything, and and with this camera I discovered what type of photography I wanted. I already knew and had an idea that I wanted to shoot more portrait of people, but I also love documentary photography. I also love landscape and locations with it, so this camera was perfect to start. So once you nail your budget and you know a little bit what is it for, your camera, then it's gonna be easier to find the perfect camera for you. Every camera is a perfect camera when you're started. In my opinion, if you buy any crop frame cameras, if it's a DSLR, you can already learn and make beautiful pictures. So instead of spending on a more expensive camera, try to get a cheaper version if you just want to learn, and invest the money left into lenses. And after you find your budget and you have an idea of what you want your photography for, normally when you start or you want to start, you already have a small idea of what you want to photograph. That's why you want to get a camera, right? So I recommend you to study first what type of photography you would love to do, portrait, landscape, travel, etc. If you also care about video or not. So think about it, and once you have this figured out, it's gonna bring us to our third and last tip. It's gonna be, how serious are you? Because if you guys are like me that love to learn 1,000 things a day, that's not good, by the way, you may find out that photography is a bit more difficult than you expected, or not. For me it was difficult, but I love the challenge. So if for you guys it becomes a burden or you lose motivations because you realize that you have to learn more than you thought, sometimes investing in a really expensive camera just to leave it there full of dust is not the best. So if you really want to learn into photography and start into the photography world, just think to yourself, is that really my passion? Do you really want to do it, like serious? Then you can invest in a better camera. My advice would be invest in a cheap DSLR. Doesn't really matter, it's gonna do the job. Nowadays all the DSLR starting level are great, and that will make you think if you really want to do photography, if you want to get into photography. So once you figured your budget, what's the camera for, and how serious you are, I'm sure by now you're gonna have a way easier time finding your perfect camera. If you do, or you did already, please mention it in the comment. I hope I helped you a little bit with this, because I get asked many times about this. And to be honest, there's not a perfect camera, guys. Start slow. I started with a really slow camera, and then I was upgrading, and I only own two cameras that I actually use, plus a film one. So hang in there. Photography is tough, but it's beautiful. So if you really want to learn, guys, follow these tips. And I'm more than happy to help you in the future videos or into my other social media channels to find your perfect lenses or etc. So thank you guys for watching. I hope I help you a little bit of finding your perfect camera. And I've been reading and seeing a lot in YouTube videos that videos are not coming up on your feed if you are subscribed. So great solution, if you see beside my subscribe button, it's gonna be a little bell or a gear button. Just press get notifications so you get my weekly videos, and once in a week I'm gonna try to add an extra video. And so thank you for watching, guys. Subscribe if you want, share this video if you feel helpful, you have a friend that's looking for a camera, and let me know in the comments what's your favorite camera or what do you need for a camera. And remember these 3 tips. My name is Frankie Janes, Frag Crocs, and I will see you all next week. Bye.